the environment and energy. A remote medicine specialist and the Chief Medical Officer of the Australian Antarctic Division. He's also the member of the Scientific Committee on Antarctic Research and an adjunct associate professor at James Cook University.
Thank you, and thank you for the kind invitation to present today. I'd like to acknowledge Ms. Preeti Sudan, Honourable Secretary, Ministry of Health, Family Welfare, Government of India, and Joint Secretary Agarwal, and his team of the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, and also Tim Kelsey's kind invite, the Australian Digital Health Agency. What I'm trying to show to you today is something what I believe is quite amazing, and I'm connecting the 7th continent. And I lead Australia's Antarctic program, and I'll just give you a bit of context about Antarctica. Some of you may not be aware of activities in Antarctica, but next slide. Next slide. So Antarctica is a collaboration of many nations, including India has 2 stations in Antarctica, Bharati. Can work. In fact, those space agencies are looking to us, and my predecessor, Professor Des Lugg, said that Antarctica is a space analogue for real people in real isolation undertaking real hazardous work, and we've been working with NASA in this regard since 1993. So just looking at the stations, you can see here we have a small community type hospital, a medical facility, but it's staffed by a single doctor and some lay people who are trained to assist the doctor, and they're totally isolated over 9 months. The challenges I mentioned is the distance, so equatorial versus polar orbiting satellites. There are not many polar satellites. Up until last year, the maximum bandwidth I had over the last 17 years has been 1 megabit per second. So that's dial-up speed. And I've been able to do telehealth until then. And fortunately, this year we've got 9 megabits per second. High latency, up to 250 milliseconds, and a very small satellite footprint and at a high cost. So you need standards around any telehealth you do, whether it's in Antarctica or in an office or in outback Australia under a tree next to a plane. And with the Australian College of Rural and Remote Medicine, we've developed those standards for telehealth, and other countries such as Singapore have worked with us and incorporated those standards into their standards. So what I'm going to demonstrate today is how we work. It's a shared electronic health record, one view, so you don't have to explain the history all the time. The distant doctor and the proximal doctor or health professional are all looking at the same information. So single shared electronic health record, a patient and doctor in the centre, polar medicine experts coordinating and making things happen, as you'll see, diagnostic point of care testing, telesurgery, and it's only then, with respect, I bring in the specialists. Most healthcare is either self-care or done in primary care, and the specialists should be consultants into that phase, and that's where they too can see into the shared electronic health record. So what are we going to do is demonstrate now with my doctor down at Mawson Station, one of our most isolated stations, Dr. Jan Wallace. And if we can bring up the link to Antarctica, and Jan will do a simulation. There will be a patient, it's all consented. And there will be a little bit of pretend blood in the mouse. So anyone who wants to turn away, please turn away. Over to you, Jan.
Good morning, and a very warm welcome to all the delegates of the International Digital Health Symposium. My name's Jan Wallace, and I'm the doctor here at Mawson Station. I'm here with 14 other expeditioners, and we're 6 weeks into our winter season, and we'll be totally isolated here until November. Today we're going to play out a scenario and demonstrate some of our digital health capabilities. Today I have our expedition mechanic Tom here playing our patient. In this scenario, Tom has been outside, slipped and fallen and hit his head and face. And I've already conducted a preliminary examination. I've done some x-rays and taken some blood samples, and all of this has already been uploaded into the digital health record where Dr. Ayton and his team back in Australia can view all that clinical information. So for today's scenario, I'm going to put on my clinical camera glasses, and I'm going to revisit clinical examination that you can observe directly and demonstrate some of our capabilities. So now I'm going to change to my camera glasses. The view will change. And we'll come and see our patient, Tom. Hi there, Tom.
Hi, Jen.
How are you feeling at the moment?
My head's a bit sore.
I can see, yes, you've got a nasty gash there. I think you'll need some stitches for that. So I'm just going to have a little check over again of your head. Is that okay?
Okay, no problem.
Okay. How's that feeling up here?
It's okay up there.
Right. And here?
Not too bad. It's okay.
Not too bad. You've got quite a gash there on your forehead. I'm going to need to fix that up with some stitches later. Okay. How are you feeling here?
Well, a bit sore on the left-hand side.
Is it? Okay. Just open your mouth for me. Okay. I can see a bit of blood in there. So, Tom, I'm going to have a better look inside your mouth. Is that all right?
Okay.
So I'll get you to come and sit on the dental chair for me, and I'll use my oral camera and we'll have a look inside your mouth. Okay?
Sure, no problem.
Here we go. That's the way. So now I'm going to take my intraoral camera and change views and examine the patient's mouth in more detail. Okay, Tom. So just open up wide for me. That's the way. So I can use this camera to examine the teeth in much greater detail, and I'm also able to take clinical photographs. I can take as many as I wish. Here we go. So now I can use the telehealth hub, and I can view my digital photographs that I've taken, scroll through them, and select the ones that I want to keep. So to do that, I create a session for my patient. We've got one already existing made up. And the procedure I've conducted today is a dental examination. And I've saved that session. So I can return to my patient's file here, and I can see previous sessions that have been done. And here's the same photographs that I've taken today. Now, to sync these back with Australia, I'll return to the home screen there, and these will automatically sync back to Australia, where they can be viewed by Dr. Ayton and his team, and they'll be present in the patient's electronic health record. Thank you very much. Back to Dr. Ayton.
Thanks, Jan. And it's amazing that's very simple telehealth demonstrated, and that could be video, it could be a live stethoscope feed, or it could be any type of camera or USB device that is plugged into that device. That device has recently been put on sale in Australia, and it's an Australian-made product, the Pro EX. If we just go back to Jan to an open session so we can see you if possible. And what I can show you is, if I share my screen here, I'm pretending to be in Hobart in our telemedicine unit called the Polar Medicine Unit. And what we're seeing here, we're seeing the live feed from that patient. I've actually got a demonstration feed coming through there, but it's actually coming from that machine that was next to the patient. And you can see the health record there. And this is all through just on a normal laptop or smart device. And we can also look at the x-rays within the health record. So this is the x-rays that we took of the phantom, the dental phantom. We could look at the dental x-rays we've done. We look at the oral camera images that have come through there, and you'll see the latest images coming through shortly. You can look at all the results that have been done. So she did some pathology results and things yesterday as a demonstration, and the referral. And all this is one single electronic health record shared by all members of the healthcare team. So it's synchronizing across the system, and hopefully we'll be able to see the latest images coming through over the satellite system very shortly. So what we've demonstrated is live feed of the vital signs of a patient in Antarctica. We've got a shared electronic health record. We don't have to recount the history because the history is already visible in the encounter, and as you can see there, and I have started a new history about this telehealth consult, and that Jan can see, and then I can empower the distant healthcare provider, whether they're a nurse, a healthcare worker, or a rural generalist doctor, to work to the top of their license. And that's essentially what we've been able to demonstrate, and I think that's pretty amazing where a satellite is in the equator, and we're dealing with someone who's on the bottom of the earth some 5,000 kilometres from Hobart. So I'll just see if those images have synchronised through to the system. and might have to refresh there. So there are the images in the health record that you saw Jan take a minute ago. So they've come across huge satellite distances, so applicable in any island situation or remote medicine or rural remote. So anyone can see that. It's not just on the machine down in Antarctica. This is embedded in their shared electronic health record. So I'll just pop back to Jan there if you like, and if you've got any questions for us, I know we're out of time. If you've got any questions, happy to take them afterwards, or if you want to take some now, that's fine. Thank you, Jan and the Mawson team down south, and the ICT people in Digital India, fantastic.